Hello, it's me, Annalisa. This is my spiritual friend. It is Sunday night, February 7th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I wasn't here last Sunday. My apologies. Um, this room is in my basement, and there's a bathroom connected to this room. And it's like the last exit of all the sewage before everything leaves the house. And it backed up on Saturday night, and it was like it had happened 2 weeks before. So we called the person back in, and he couldn't get it done by himself, and it reeked to high heaven. I called it the bog of stench. I don't know if anybody's seen Labyrinth, but it was, ugh. And I just couldn't sit in here and do the reading. So as much as I love you guys, I couldn't handle the smell. So it wasn't like it didn't ruin our basement or anything. I stayed in the little shower area, but like when they came in and like did the machine and everything, it sprayed like all over everything. It was the grossest cleanup. And no, I didn't hire someone to come in and clean my house. I just did it. It was gross. A lot of bleach. Anyway, so I'm back. My apologies. It was a shitty last Sunday, so to speak, literally. And then I like really tired this week. Tiny little knocked my head on my fridge. Like did move my head out of the way when I was closing the door. I don't know if anybody's ever been that tired before, but Patricia, will find out for you in a moment. I wanted to do a couple of things tonight before we get started on me doing my Magic 8 Ball thing. First, not a doctor, not a lawyer, not a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. I had somebody, one of my regulars here, I'm not going to say who, but contact me and says she got a reading from somebody else. And I thought, God dang it. I'm just kidding. I didn't care. You go where you need to go. But this other person, unfortunately, told her that she's got like a curse on her, essentially. And it really pissed me off. Not that she went to anybody else. Again, I don't really care. You can hop around, whatever. Maybe you get a better message from someone else. Different clarity, whatever. I don't believe in curses. And I actually had somebody tell me I had a curse on me. And this was before I knew how to do readings. I just had stuff that happened to me like my whole life. But I didn't understand like just how much I could do with this. And I was kind of in a really vulnerable state. And I saw somebody with a shingle and I went and saw her. And it was like a big leap of faith kind of thing to go to her. And she told me I had a curse. And then she was like, you should go. And she's like, wanted me to get all this cash out. And like, like a total charlatan. And to the point where I was like, this doesn't feel right. And I like left. I was like, oh yeah, I'll go get money. I left. I just never even bothered coming back. And I got you, Cindy. You're on the list. KK Cindy needs to be added to the list for 2 questions. Oh, you're losing your man card for watching the Silver Super Bowl. Oh, well, we'll take you as an honorary female, Dan. Don't worry. So, anyway, so this woman like literally called me over the next couple of weeks, like trying to scare me into believing that like if I didn't do this, I was going to be cursed forever. So my point is that please, if anybody ever tells you you're cursed, just run for the hills. Do not ever even give it a second thought. That is someone who, if they believe in that, that's their own filter, right? We as readers, we work as a filter. If you're really healed, then you're going to get somebody who's gone through healing and who's working on it, who's like a little bit more on my path, you're going to get stuff where it's going to look at it from a different holistic picture. I can tell you before I went to therapy and everything, I would just be like, wow, your mom's a real bitch. Like I didn't get the layers of like where it came from and all the generations back. So just take it for what it's worth. And then I also wanted to maybe send out some healing to some of you. I know some of you are struggling a little bit. So either you need physical healing or emotional healing. So I just want to take a little bit. Katie, hi. Katie, don't even worry about it if your payment didn't go through. You're like, I'll figure that out later. Katie is an old friend of mine. She's my light worker buddy. So it's nice to see you, feel your energy. So yeah, so can we spend like just a couple, like not even a couple minutes, just a little bit of time and sending some energy out to, how about we just send it out to everybody in the group and just trust that the universe brings it. But I just feel like some of you really, really could use a little bit of extra zhuzh today. So we'll ask for, I know in the last a couple times, I don't know if Devry's here or not, but Devry was a little down, so I would like to send her some. And Starry Sky, I'd like to send her for her knee and her eye. I don't think Rose is on here, but Rose in Florida, she, I haven't seen her in a while, but she was stage 4 cancer. I just want to send her some, and anybody else. If anybody else, that might be even something I'd like to do at the beginning of these, is where we just kind of send out energy and healing. So if you want to be a part of that, we can just send out a general too. Hi, Goddess Love. Thank you. And also I got some really cool validations. I don't know, KK, if it's okay for me to tell about the validation about the one thing I said for you. It was really cool. So yeah, so let's do, all of you have the potential to be energy healers. I don't care if you're certified or not. It's a very, very easy thing. And then, okay, so KK's thing was, I guess back in October, I told her that she would be, I saw her moving in around February, and she emailed me and told me that she actually, and she, at the time, she's like, I'm not even looking to move, it wasn't even really on her radar. And she signed a lease last week, February, to move. So I thought that was so cool, because that's like not even, people in manifesting rooms will say to you all the time, like, oh, you're just reading what your energy is and what you're wanting. And I don't think that's always the case. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah. Okay. So let me do, so with energy healing, I'm going to teach you a real quick way. So you're going to kind of, you can close your eyes. You can kind of like lower your head a little bit and visualize like a white light kind of coming through the back of you here and kind of reaching in through your chest, like your shoulders kind of coming down through your chest. It's going to come out through your arms and hands, right? You don't have to specifically know what anybody looks like. If the intention is there for, you can say to all of our subscribers, and I'll send them I'll have it specifically for a few people. But if you just want to send it out and take a few little seconds to help me do that, that would be super, super awesome. Apparently I'm live now on YouTube. I think that's what was buzzing my wrist. So we can send that out really quick. If anybody has any specifics they want real quick, you can type it in. Are you guys okay with doing this? Please subscribe and like, share me with your friends, hit the bell, all of that stuff. If anybody has any massive objections, too bad. This is my time. Just kidding. Okay, so we'll close our eyes really quick and we'll welcome the divine universe and the healing energy of the divine universe. And we ask us to be a conduit through which this energy can be sent out to all of my subscribers, to anyone who needs this right now, for healing, for physical, for emotional healing, for spiritual healing, for anything that they need. We ask that this time be spent to connect and to know that they are, even if they aren't here present at the moment, that they are loved and that they are taken care of, and that they are already healed. We thank you. We thank you. Amen. Okay. I didn't want to spend too much time because who wants to stare at me like breathing deep and whatever, if you're watching this back. Another cool thing is, so my neighbor is a rabbi and a reverend, live on the end of the cul-de-sac. And hi, Shirley. And he's like, oh, I used to do tarot cards and blah, blah, blah. But he got some like really specific information and it freaked him the F out. but he's like, oh, sometime I got to have you. I don't know if I don't know if it's the name of his temple is kind of a reformed temple. So I don't know if it has a different name, whatever. And I just kind of, we were a little bit of a further apart because shoveling snow outside. Anyway, he's like, we got to do this energy thing sometime. I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, wait, come here. Get mask on. And he held his hands up and he's like, but we won't touch. I'm like, yeah, I know how the energy thing works. I'm a healer. He's like, okay. So he's like, he puts his hand up and we're like that far apart. And he's like, he closes his eyes. He's like, whoa, like doing that. I was like smiling. I'm just smiling and staring at him like, yeah, cool, huh? But I think it's funny how other people react like, whoa. So he's like, I was like, did you feel it? The buzzing. So it is pretty interesting how energy works. Anyway, I guess I was really tired. I was about to drink some coffee, but I think that little bit of energy flowing through me was really nice. All right, so let's get started now that we've wasted 10 whole minutes on this. And I'm sure you guys want to ask some questions. So Miss Patricia wanted to know why she was forced into retirement. Hello, Miss Shirley. Hi, Mary. You're welcome. All right. Okay, so Miss Patricia wants to know why the universe put her into retirement. Well, dear, the universe didn't put you into retirement. They told me that you'd actually been thinking a whole lot about retirement and sort of a lot of fantasizing, but not really with the intention of I want to retire now. You're welcome, Goddess Love. So it's kind of like when we manifest, when we don't really think about what we want. We don't hem and haw. We're just like, oh, like, wouldn't it be nice? Or like kind of thinking of it that way. And you manifested it unintentionally. And because you weren't really thinking about it needing to be right away and you just sort of let it go, like it was just that kind of a thought process, it happened. And it's similar to the experience that this reverend that I'm at church with, and she's a friend, and she was like, I was so busy. She does readings full time. She's like, I was so busy. Everything was great. It was going so well. And I was like, I was exhausted. I had so many readings and now I've like nothing. And I just looked at her, I go, you were like hoping you could get a break. You were, and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you manifested this. So now you just have to see yourself working again. And they picked up right away, but it was just like people, we unintentionally manifest things. And that happens. I do think you manifested it. Absolutely. 100%. And not intentionally, but again, it was just sort of like knowing that you were close to the point that you wanted to retire and sort of like, won't it be nice when and that kind of thing and imagining it that way. Danny 333, welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while. So that's sort of how that happens. Shirley, you have 2 questions. You can go ahead and ask. Danielle, get ready. And Nicole R, get ready. Oh, you're Danielle. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and ask your question, Shirley, you're up as well. You want to be retired. Well, you are retired. I don't feel like I'm retired, no work, doing nothing. Because I do feel like, sometimes people retire, but then they go do like a part-time job just for fun. And it feels like finding something to pick up work just for fun, just to like keep yourself busy. My mom retired from teaching in schools and now she teaches piano, and I think she probably works. I mean, between when she was driving, now she's doing everything over Zoom. But she's getting her vaccine soon. I'm so excited. So she might actually get to come visit by April. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm more worried about her than anyone else. So anyway, she teaches piano over Zoom. She's a piano lady. I, of course, never learned how to play piano because, ew, gross. My mom plays piano. That's not what I want to do. And now I kick myself for it. Shirley, when is my birthday? Wait, when is your birthday? That's right. You wrote that thing. don't feel like it's far off from when you actually, because I'm not getting, I don't know why I'm getting like, are you a Capricorn December? But what I feel like is it's actually only like 2 days off from what you celebrate it. Like, I don't feel like it's far off from when you actually celebrate it. What's funny is, okay, I just got this. This is weird. Like, we say Jesus' birthday is in December, but it's actually there, think like astrologically closer to April or something. Does that make any sense? You have no interest in, sorry. Does that make any sense, Shirley? And I do feel like it's a UTI. And it feels like you're going to be set up to them if you don't drink enough water. So, and cut back on your caffeine consumption. Did you just like make a major pause? Hello? And I also feel like, by the way, that it would be safe for you to go to the doctor's office and pee in a cup and get the script that you need. You made a birthday up April 3rd. Is that not funny? Then I kept getting December, and then you said, and then it was the April thing about Jesus. Oh my God. That's weird. I know you drink 1 cup a day, but I feel like you're actually very sensitive to it, the caffeine in it. I mean, I don't know you drink 1 cup a day, but I know it's only 1 cup a day, but I feel like you're really, really sensitive to it. It's so funny how they got me to get to April with like the whole idea of Jesus, isn't it? That's so weird, right? There's a few of you here. Hit the thumbs up. I don't feel like it's far off from where you decided to celebrate it, to be honest with you. Do you know, were you adopted? Yes. It sounds really weird, but I feel like with the coffee, do you drink organic? Because it might be beneficial to drink organic, or there's something like where it's like, I don't know, get you some decaf, drink tea. You were born at home. But why doesn't your mom know what your birth date is? I know you said that whoever burned the records, but that just confused me. I really don't think that it's far off from where you celebrate it, to be honest with you. It's like a 2-day off. Just for a little bit, give up the coffee until you're like drinking more water and stuff. Danielle, what was your question? And I do feel like, Shirley, if you go to the doctor, that you'll be fine. You won't have to take your mask off, thank God. Just pee in a cup. And it's a clean catch, so it's not like they're going to have to do, it's just a clean catch, right? So they don't have to do a catheter or anything. Oh, your Uncle Tom has been sick for a year. Test medication not working. So, and I felt this earlier when you wrote this down. I felt really like nauseous in my stomach, and I felt it again reading that. So does he have nausea? Because then I'll tell you what I think it might be. I just said the sun is some kind of mass. Does he have nausea? Like, does it cause nausea? Hey, Laura. He did for medication. This is weird because even if it's sinuses and there's a mass there, I don't think that's the origin of his dizzy, congested, blurred vision, which to me means if you're dizzy, whatever, it might cause the nausea too. Have they done blood tests on him, like done a liver panel and checked his kidney function and his pancreatic levels? And I know you'd be like, that has nothing to do with it. But I literally, when I felt the nausea earlier, it like I did not feel anything with sinuses. And even now I feel like a little bit like back here in my eyes and stuff as you're saying that. But it's weird because it feels like it, like maybe they're trying to get it to liken the way you find like pancreatic cancer, where you don't, because of where the pancreas sits, it's not obvious, right? And so it takes a long time for you to get like the symptoms of something, some issue going on. He's probably had scans of his sinuses done. It feels like it's whatever the cause of it is not an obvious cause. I don't know where pancreatic cancer, if it metastasizes or what it does. Let me just see real quick. So if it's a mass, he can't make out words correctly because he's so congested. Have they done any biopsies? And I don't know why it would travel up here because it seems weird to me. Like it's not near the limb, kind of that's how everything travels around. So it's weird to me, but it doesn't feel like they can't because it's too dangerous. It just feels like this isn't the place of origin. And by that, I mean, I hope you understand when I say that. A dear friend of mine, they first found him with liver issues, but actually the place of origin, it was ended up being cancer, was actually metastatic colon cancer. So it feels like then it's entered the nerves. If he's lost taste and whatever, it's either impinging on the nerve or it's infiltrated the nervous, like the cluster of nerves in the sinus area. Have they scanned the rest of his body or have they stayed with sinus area? Because it just feels like it might not be a bad idea to get other areas scanned to see if what he has is from somewhere else. And my thought too is if I don't know if this is psychic or just regular old my nursing stuff. If it's too dangerous to biopsy it, then has it infiltrated the brain? They change it to an MRI. Okay, but he's gonna have a full body MRI. Thank you, Goddess Love. They're doing, because I feel like they'll find something on the MRI there, and I actually feel like it may end up being like the pancreas area or something like that. I don't want to call the outcome on this one. I don't feel great about it, but I don't feel like I'm dying tomorrow kind of thing. Like the Dustin Diamond guy when he got diagnosed, like when it went public and then he passed away fairly shortly afterwards. I don't feel like that, but I don't feel great about it. And I don't want to make a call on it that way either, because I just feel like that's something I don't like to. Like I don't feel like I just don't feel great. But I also feel like that you kind of know that too. It's almost even really hard to make him comfortable. Have they thought about putting stents in order to help him breathe better? Like, is there a way for them to put stents in? And by the way, that totally sucks to lose your taste and smell, because it just like then like even eating just becomes like a chore because it's all texture and I really like when I lost my taste and smell last March in 2020. Like it took a while to get it back, but it was like I remember like at a point it was like, oh, I really wanted something really, really sour or super salty because those were the only things I could taste. And I'm finally able to get my citrus back. My citrus taste like took forever to come back, and it like citrus tasted like metallic-y to me. It was disgusting. I can imagine. That's kind of was my feeling, Danny, is that he's kind of ready. Like he just that's going to be the ultimate decider for him because he's so miserable. I'm sorry. I wish I could like say like, oh, this is going to happen. It's going to be great. And it's going to be, I just don't feel that. I don't feel like it's a great outcome. Is he kind of an Eeyore energy anyway? Because it's this feeling of like, he's kind of like, oh, this was going to happen. It would happen to me kind of thing. Nobody wants to be in pain. Well, hopefully he got some of that healing energy. Yeah, the Eeyore energy. So it just feels like if something weird, funky was going to happen, it was bound to happen to him. Nicole R, Ellen, you guys are up. This light is very bright tonight. So, can you add Kathleen Mulligan? It's so funny to call you Kathleen. To the list, and Emily Martins and Farrah Love. Oh, Goddess Love. Sorry. And then I think we'll close the list because I've been going on a little bit yammering, so we don't get out of here too late. Hi, Regine. How are you? How are you? Nicole, first question. I think my mom is depressed. She has lost her routine since COVID, and we had a big argument. Oh, okay, Farrah. All right, so your mama. Oh, so they are like, yeah, she is depressed, but you already knew that. And then they're like, the fight was neither here nor there. It was really more out of her feeling like out of loss of control. And it just sort of kind of blew up. It was really like kind of a silly fight. What happened to Allie? So the feeling I get is just that, sorry, I got really sidetracked. You can't fix somebody or make them not depressed. You can't, like, as much as watching somebody that we love go through all of the mental illness kind of stuff, we can't fix them. We can have compassion for them and understanding and make sure we're also setting boundaries and keeping ourselves healthy as well. You just don't want to get into the pitfalls of like becoming an enabler or thinking that you need to fix them. I do feel like having a little bit more compassion and understanding, encouraging her to come out, take a walk with you, do little things like that. Maybe encouraging her to go get some therapy or find an online support group. And I keep feeling like just pray for her. Like, it seems so silly and simple, but manifesting is just sort of prayer. It's you ask for things as if you already have them with gratitude. And that's sort of the way I feel like you need to pray for her, is seeing her healed, and seeing her kind of coming out of that and feeling okay. Has she stopped applying for jobs? Because it feels like she kind of gave up. And I almost feel like in the next couple of weeks, someone from in the past or even her last job or whatever is going to reach out to her and see if she needs a job. Yeah. So part of that is in encouraging her to try and get anything. Sure, I'll let it slip this one time. I'll let it slide. I could just add Cheryl, and then for sure we're done. Dunzo. That's just the feeling I get, is like just encouraging her to like do the things that she needs to do, encouraging her to get out of the house, but to like look for jobs. I know it's that feeling of like, who's going to hire me at my age anyway, blah, 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 but encouraging her to reach out and look for jobs. Ask the second question, please. And then Ellen, go ahead and type yours as well. Pardon my yawning. I was so tired. I was like, God, it's like only 7 o'clock. Apparently my bedtimes are getting earlier and earlier. There's a build up and I finally addressed it. Now I feel out of place. This is your not liking confrontation. If this is buffering, let me know. Anyways, it's not liking confrontation is really your biggest Achilles heel. So it isn't that you're not welcome there or that you're not wanted there. It's like that feeling and that energy of like putting that out there. So then it's sort of reflected. Like, I spoke up for myself, feeling uncomfortable that I confronted the situation. So just hang tight. I don't feel like needing a recruiter or anything. I just feel like hanging tight. Just keep your head down, do your job, do what you need to do. And then also don't wait so long to bring something up if it ever comes up again. It's not, it makes it worse, because then there's all kinds of weird stuff that goes along with it of, why did you wait so long? Why did it have to get so bad? And all of that. But I don't feel like you need to work with a recruiter. I don't see you going anywhere from there for a little while. It's just uncomfortable when you're not used to confronting people and situations, and then you have to, and then you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And you go through a whole bunch of stuff in your head. So maybe like on the side, work on some affirmations. Like, it's okay for me to get what I need, and it's okay for me to speak my truth. It's okay for me to speak up for myself. It's safe for me to do that. I'm validated, or I am entitled to set boundaries and to need my workplace to be a certain way. Is your boss an older woman, or was there an older woman? Like in charge. I see this little older woman. I feel like she's going to be leaving soon, moving to a different place or something. You have a coworker that's an older woman. Is she part of this issue? Because they're showing me that her specifically, and then this person's leaving soon, and so it sort of changes the energy around it. Ellen, I don't see your question. Sorry, my eyes are like, You think I've been drinking all day or something? I was all excited to get to go to Whole Foods, and there was like no one there the way it used to be, like when I drop my kids off at school and go to Whole Foods. And like, I like to shop when there's no one around, because I don't like dealing with everybody's energy. It was like that. It was like heaven. It was like pre-COVID heaven for me. She's a huge know-it-all. Okay. So I think that's like where sort of like, I feel like she's part of the issue, and she'll be a solution. Like, she'll be part of the solution. It feels like maybe 2 to 3 months. I'm getting a 2 to 3. It feels very short, but it doesn't feel like weeks. So 2 to 3 months. Okie dokie. Ellen, would you mind retyping your question, please? I'm sorry if it's buffering. I think since all the snow, our internet has been like, thank you, Ellen. I told my employer that I would like to work only 3 days a week for the next 3 weeks for medical reasons. How will that react? Oh, they're fine with it. Yeah, it's like a non-issue. They're totally fine with it. It feels like that's the, like, they're like, that's it? Okay, no problem. I seriously, like, anywhere. My husband used to like, he'd be like, oh, he went to Costco, I think. I don't know when it was. It was like he went early in the morning. He's like, oh my God, because usually he doesn't get out of the house till 3. And I'm like, you're insane. You're insane. There's something wrong with you. And I don't go to Costco at all on the weekends. Like, fuck that. Like, and he went, he was like, oh my God, it was like so different. I could like, I'm like, yeah, I can't handle, like, I like people. I don't like dealing with people's anxiety. It's like when you go to, the only casinos I've ever been to is Coshada, which is in Louisiana, and it's like not far from the border of Texas. And I guess I went to the one Mohegan Sun too. I can't handle everybody's anxiety. Like, be okay with losing your money or don't do it. Like, I don't know. Like, all the anxiety around it. It was just like, not for me. I'm just not a gambler. I don't want to deal with everybody's. And I feel like everybody gets like all like when they go shopping, and there's like crowded, and I can't. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, I feel like you'll be fine, Ellen. No problem. Did you hear my answer to it, Ellen, though, that I said I feel like they'll be fine with it, no problem, and you'll be able to stay home? And it's like, they're like neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. They're happy to be able to do that really easily and help out. Then I don't know where y'all are at, but so Costco is like kind of all over, but in this area, there's a place called BJ's, and I remember moving up here and being like, BJ's, you fucking drop what? It's like Costco, but I thought, who the hell comes up with these names? BJ's, Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Pervs. Just kidding. Maybe I'm the perv. Okay, Tracy, for my first question, I was curious if my boyfriend and his cousin's birthmarks are related from a past life. The same shape, the same spot. Amazing. Can you tell me their names, their first names? Jordan, Justin. Oh my God, that's funny. Sorry. So I keep feel like the feeling of attached at the hip. So do they happen to be on their hips? Because it sounds weird, but it's like almost like this feeling of being like congenital twin, or being, what do they call them? Is it congenital twins? That doesn't sound right. Lower, so close to the hip. Ha. Okay. One's on the back and one conjoined. Thank you. Conjoined twins. Sometimes it doesn't work. It almost feels like they might have been in a past life conjoined twins. And that's not an uncommon place to be connected, is there? And just not, being able to, even now it's, even now it's extremely intensive to separate conjoined twins. Because they have all of the equipment. So, and it's also hard to say like past life because I believe in the multiverse. So it's really all happening at once. But yes, I do actually feel that, like, because it's like that joined at the hip feeling was what I got. Pretty cool. What's your second question? And Laura H., if you'll go ahead and get ready for your question as well. Starry Sky, are you here? I haven't seen you say hello. I haven't watched 1 minute of the Super Bowl, by the way. I think I saw one commercial. I was doing my affirmation journal. Kind of geeking out on manifesting. My second is if we would be moving this year, and if so, in state, or will we move out of state? I feel like you will closer to September, and it feels like just over the border. So it doesn't feel like out of state, like across the country out of state. You're watching your husband watch it. I feel that's like, so my husband likes to make everything like, I'll make all these like little appetizer-y things. And it's just funny because he's like, hi, every year, literally every year. Oh, I didn't think I'd get started so late. I haven't even watched 1 minute of the game. Like literally every year. Oh, I'm in pain. He's like, he's got back issues, whatever. And then like he also hacked out his car because I was like, we gotta move some of the snow because you have to move your car over because I accidentally like tapped his bumper with my car. Because whenever I pull my car out of the garage, you always hear the beep, 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 beep because it's just the wall of the garage and I always know I'm close. But it beeped a lot and heard a little crrr. So I hit his car. Shh. I told him. It's like a little tiny scratch and a tiny scratch on mine. But I was like, I can't, like, I don't want to have like an anxiety attack every time I'm trying to back the car out. And then he had it, whatever. So he had moved snow and he's like, I gotta get this ice off the driveway. Like we have this like thing that hacks ice. I'm like, oh. So now he's like in pain, not really watching the football game, which is actually a yearly event of not really watching it and cooking and whatever. I don't know. It's just, I think he sets himself up for it. Okay. Laura H., I'm wondering if I'll remarry and have children. Yeah, fairly close to the state you're in. So it feels like just over the border is the feeling I got. I'm happy wrong on that, but that was the feeling I got. What's super funny is I was like, so I was like, so who are you cheering for? And he's like, what did he say? I think Kansas City, they're the Buccaneers. And I was like, wait, which one's which? Yeah. All right. Okay, so Laura wants to know if I'm going to get married again and have children. I do feel like I'm married. They said it in 3 years, so I don't feel like it's that far out. Give or take with timing, because you guys, sometimes timing is a little like, I'm always grateful when I'm exact about it, but sometimes it's a little like, especially the further out it gets, you have to give a little bit of more plus or minus leeway. I always realize, okay, sorry. Anyway, so I don't know if you'll give birth to your own children, but I feel like you're a mother to 2 children. So I don't know if it's that he comes in with 2 kids of his own that are young, or so that's like, I'm on the fence about this, and I don't know if you're actually pregnant on your own or if there's something around that. I do feel like it'll happen. So also then you have to manifest that too, right? Believe it. Believe it's going to happen. Believe it, see it. Come back on here in 3 years. Anna, I'm married. I'm happy to be the end point that you use as your manifestation, like tell it to person. So for me, and I've said this a lot of times, like with manifesting, I saw on one of the boards I'm on, this woman was saying that she wants to get married, but she doesn't know who. And like, does she think about the day of? And I'm thinking like, why are you struggling with all the details? I was like, just see yourself telling a friend, like, I found a man and we got married, and can you believe he's literally everything I wanted in a man to marry? And I was like, and list out everything that you want and be like, to the detail, like to a T, he was all of these things, or he is all of these things. So it just feels like, just remember to always see it too. All right. Sorry, Sky, are you on? Dan, do you have any questions? Sandra, Lampy, are you on? I got yes. Star Sky on your father, your Harry being your biological. Dan, I know she's been sick. I checked on her this week, and then she was like, I just get so exhausted. She didn't get tested yet. She told me she thought she had it. Mary, quit being stubborn. Go get tested. Oh, she is listening. She said hello. You're welcome. She's going to be okay. I just feel like the thing with COVID is it really kicks your ass. Like symptoms. And I was like, when am I going to not feel like going to bed at 5 o'clock at night? Like I was going to bed at 4 and 5 o'clock for the night, and taking naps. Like I was just exhausted, and it took me a long time to really get my energy back, and even longer to get my smell and taste back. Hi, Mary. You're welcome. Well, his mother's a nasty woman. Mary's going to be okay. It just takes a little bit to like get your energy back, to feel like you're back to okay status. It might even be pointless of getting tested at this point, because you might be too far out to test positive. I don't know. So some of that healing energy was for you too, Mary. I hope you felt it, since I know you're sensitive. Starry Sky, do you have another question? You paid for it too. Sandra, Cindy Bowers, if you want to ask, KK, Kathleen, Emily M. Okie dokie. Oh, good. I'm glad, Mary. And you asked about my money and if she was chewing baseboards, and she's actually not. She's really, that was one of the things I manifested, that she's easily trained and really, really sweet. And like, not kidding, she's like litter trained. She had one accident outside the box, and I think it was because my kids were sprinkling her pellets around. Whatever, but then like I put an extra little litter box. She's gone in there like a couple times, like when I've changed her one, but like she's really clean. She'll nibble just a couple times on things that she's not supposed to, but if I tell her no, she's a ton of things for her to do to keep her at night. She goes, I put her in her little and we cover her and she sleeps like she's free roam basically all day long till like late at night, from early in the morning till late at night. So I think she's pretty happy, so she's not frustrated and chewing on things, and then she's just like tons of toys to chew on and hay and everything else. So no, so you can put tape on baseboards, you can do certain things, but not all bunnies are chewers, believe it or not. If they have enough other stuff to do and enough activity and stimulation, then they're not going to chew on them. My husband grew up with a bunny, and the bunny only ate with pellets, never got hay or, not really a lot of stuff to chew on. And so their bunny, he said their bunny chewed a lot of stuff. But I did my research and I did my manifesting. So she's very sweet. And like, I would show you guys her, but this is her kind of time to run around and play and get crazy. She sleeps a lot under the couch during the day. She moves from place to place sleeping. Okay. Sandra, are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Oh, Allie, I'm so sorry. Make sure if you do get a cough with COVID, sleep on your tummy. It's helpful. Do humidifiers in your room. Drink lots and lots of water. She's so sweet. Honest to God, she is like, and she's so cute. I get her out in the morning and I clean her little paws because I can't stand like when little animals have like the yellow on their paws. So I clean her paws every morning, and I want her to be used to having her paws touched. So when it's time to trim her nails, she's okay. And then I brush her every day, every morning after that. And then I let her go. Sometimes she gets a little pissy with me when I brush her, but they can't throw up, so they need to be brushed. Like cats. So Sandra Lampy, are you here? Cindy Bowers, go ahead and type your questions. I'm just rambling, waiting for people to respond. KK, if you want to type yours. Katie, if you're here. Emily, Farah, Cheryl, you guys can type your questions. Go ahead. Let's get through them. What do my spirit guides want me to know? All right, Sandra. Oh, Cindy, yours is really quick because I just got a really quick. So, and then I'll come back to Sandra's. I feel like in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start hearing, and it feels like literally like I hear nothing. And then it's like ring, 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 like, and I'm hearing like the old school style ring. This is really weird, but I just saw like the image of like Dolly Parton, like in like the era of 9 to 5, like answering phones. Like where, I don't remember if that's a scene or not, but I just like this ringing of the phones and like trying to answer them, like that chaoticness. So it just feels like it's going to feel like crickets, and then it's going to hit and kind of just go. And also this week's a big week for you. Is it still the 10th? Okay, good. I'm so happy. So I'll send him some little like good juju, and this is a big week for you. Um, all right, Miss Sandra, thank you for your patience. Oh, that's good. So they said you're doing great. Like you're actually on the right path. It feels like you've made a really nice energetic shift. Like in the past, your energy felt heavier to me and a little bit more um kind of attached to needing the outside validation and the outside connection to other people. Does that make sense when I say that? That like now you've made this shift and you're really sort of focusing on you and kind of been healing you and working on you. I was just reading your Elijah's coming home on Wednesday. I'm really, really excited for you. And I'm going to ramble about my bunny while I'm waiting for you to respond. Um, I really decided, I don't know if I said this last time, but I'm like, I'm a total bunny person. I've had cats and dogs, and I just like, I don't mind changing her litter. I am like happy to do it. It doesn't smell the way cat litter does. And it doesn't like, it's just super contained and easy. Yes, you're good. You're just being good, being yourself. That's what feels really good for you, Sandra, is that you're just that feeling of lighter and feeling happier. And they're sort of like, just keep doing this, keep staying the path of like focusing on you, healing you. And it feels like it brings healthier relationships, not even just like romantically, but better friendships in and like better support systems and feeling like, where you might have had friends and groups where you would like complain a lot to each other, it feels like actually being an inspiration to other people now, becoming kind of that light to help people um, strive for a healthier, better life connection. Um, this is February, 4 months from now would be June, right? Because it feels like somebody new coming in June. So you might meet somebody new that sort of, but I don't feel like that need like you have in the past where it's like to become attached and to start dating right away and where's it going to go. It just feels like building a nice relationship, and it's and maybe in June there was like the feeling of around 4 months from now. So see, and I feel like I was trying to get that across to you a long time ago about like you have to focus on yourself, you kind of have to just, and it's huge and people really do notice even if they're not spiritual energetically, where they're like, I don't know what this is, I really like being around you. And I feel like you have that now, so I'm really excited for you because that's a really, really great place to be, right? I know, I don't know, I just, it like when you start to heal yourself and you start to kind of focus and see how much lighter and better and more exciting the world is because you've sort of shifted in that place, it's a really lovely place to be. So I'm excited for you about that. I did a reading for one of my clients who I've read, she's been my client for a couple of years now. And I told her like how the very first time I did a reading for her, her energy was so heavy that I was like, oh, like it's when you step into the reading, it's like, oh God, this is going to be a hard one. And she's just made this really beautiful shift in healing over the years. And it's so nice to be around her energy. Like I enjoy talking to her and doing the reading. And um, it's always really exciting for me to see people's growth. So I don't think it's so much that like, they're like sort of just encouraging you to stay in this energy and keep doing what you're doing, that you're on the right path and you're doing the right things. And like all of these things that you had wanted in the past, because you've done this, are starting to kind of come around you and be around you now. It's more of like, congratulations. Cindy, did you have a second question? I actually wanted a rabbit as a kid too. I wanted a lop ear bunny. Because we saw one once and then like just never really happened. And it wasn't even on my radar to get a pet until my oldest daughter had said something about wanting a real pet, not a hermit crab or fish, which is what we've had. And you can't really pet hermit crabs and fish. So I had to be ready to want to do all the work because moms kind of end up doing all the work. When is baby number 2 coming? I feel like within the next 12 to 18 months. So it feels like taking some adjustment time once Elijah comes home and but it doesn't feel like I have a problem getting pregnant, or it's really just sort of deciding now's the time. Like, okay, I'm ready to do this again. I'm ready to, to have a newborn. I'm settled in my job and I'm ready to like get pregnant and go through the things again. And I do feel like you will be watched by a perinatologist throughout your pregnancy for the second one, just by virtue of the fact that Elijah was born so early. But I don't feel like you'll have any problems. So it's the feeling of being watched closely, but that it'll all go okay. And I feel like, so I was high risk with my first daughter and saw perinatologists and pediatric cardiologists and everything, every geneticist, everything throughout that pregnancy. And so with my second one, I saw a perinatologist throughout my second pregnancy just because of my first pregnancy. They were kind of like, if you want to do this, you can, to give you a peace of mind. So it wasn't quite as many doctor's appointments and often, but it feels like you'll be watched closer for this one. And I think that that's really important to give that peace of mind, because when you have a rough go with the first one, it's like you feel like a crazy woman. Like even with the first, like with Jillian, I didn't even know I was in labor, my oldest one. I went in for my 37-week appointment and she was like, okay, you're good. And then she goes, wait, you're 6 centimeters. And I was like, I am. I was like, oh, can I go home and pack a bag? And she's like, where do you live? And it was, my doctor was actually out here in this area. And I was like, Hoboken. She's like, and then she goes, and I go, well, my husband's in the city working, so he's like, gotta get home. And I called him and I was like, he's like, well, I gotta do some stuff. I was like, no, you need to get home now. Like, I don't think you get this. So, whatever. So then with my second one, I was like panicked. I mean, and I knew, because I knew I was going to go 37 weeks. I was like, what if I don't know I'm in labor? And they always say the second goes, and the second did go faster. Once my water was broken, I think they were like, don't, like, it went so fast. They were like, don't laugh. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, no, like, don't laugh. You're going to push the baby out if you laugh. I have very easy labors anyway. So like, then after my third one, the doctor's like, are you sure you're not going to do this again? I was like, yeah, no, we're done. No more. Probably TMI. You're welcome. Okay. So Katie, you asked about your apartment. Sorry. Yours, oh my God. Whoa. Okay, I'll try and see about the guide I saw the other day. Can you remind me a little bit what I said, how I described it? Because you do have more than one. And then Katie, really quick. Sorry, guys, I'm rambling. I feel like I've been talking for hours, and we're only an hour in. That's crazy. I'm looking for a new apartment for 3-1. I'm clear on what I want and where I want to live. Nervous because I haven't found it yet. Mercury retrograde and funds needed. So will you find it for 3-1? You will find it for 3-1, and it literally feels like the last minute. Like it feels like just in time, just taken care of, and you shouldn't worry about the funds. It feels like they're coming, not to worry about that. I actually feel like it might be less than you were expecting to pay. Like somehow it ends up being a little bit less. The feeling I get is it might not be exactly like, this is the way they're showing it to me. So if I have a building in mind that I'm going to want to live in that building, it might not be that building, but it might be the building right across the street. That's just as nice. It's just not like it wasn't on your radar because you had had it in your mind that it was that building. So it feels like, I don't know. I'm guessing you're in Queens. Can't remember. Um, I don't know enough of the little different neighborhoods in Queens, but it just feels like if I had my mind on it's this area, it feels like it might be just on the border of wherever that was. But it's like super, super close to where you want and almost maybe even a better deal because it's right on the border, but for whatever reason, it's like nice, but it's a little bit less expensive than I was thinking. And with maybe not needing broker's fee and all of that stuff. Oh, that tall energy. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Does that resonate, Katie, when I say that? Okay. So if for some reason it's not exactly in Astoria, it might be, I don't know what borders Astoria. Sorry. Let me do Manhattan because I know Manhattan neighborhoods, and so I can kind of like explain. So say the fashion district is like what? Like goes like 36, 37, maybe up to 38, and then it starts into Hell's Kitchen. So if you wanted to be in Hell's Kitchen, you might end up actually in the fashion district, like literally one block, but it's like so close, it's the same thing. It feels like that. It feels like whatever it is you want ends up being that, but it ends up being like just slightly off from whatever. I don't know, like it's just right on the other, but like still fits what you need. And I totally understand wanting to live close to the grocery store because you a bitch to walk with all of your groceries. Okay, sorry. Okay, tall energy. Let's see who's KK's guy. Oh, now I remember what I got. I don't want to say you have an alien guide, but it feels like I don't know if you've looked at a lot of the extraterrestrial type beings, but I've seen one of these in like my hallway before. Tall, like really tall and blonde, like super, super blonde. And that's the energy I feel like think like Nordic type coloring. Um, and that's sort of what I saw. And it feels like just a very intelligent being, like extremely intelligent and like not emotionless, but just not caught up in the emotion and the excitement, everything like very almost scientific about things. Like I get really excited, like, you're going, ah, and he'd be like, well, that's obvious. And that's like sort of his energy around everything. Um, it's not Pleiadian. I can't think of the name of it. Angels can be guides, but the more often than not with something like that, they are kind of a temporary, they kind of come in and out for specific times and for specific reasons. Yeah. Very logical, very matter of fact, very just really intelligent. And it just feels like everything is communicated telepathically. So if you were to like do a um, meditation where you go in and try and meet him, you would never see his mouth move. Like it would just all be like where in the movies they had like do the thought thing. I always love how Hollywood like interprets certain things and how they get things to come across. Because it's funny to me. I don't know. Oh, that's funny. Like I got recommended um, on a Facebook group. A lot of the Facebook groups, like the local groups I'm a part of, but I turn off all of the notifications for them because it feels like a way to drown out the drama. But I wanted to still have access if I need to find a plumber or something like that. And a girlfriend of mine recommended me on there, and then someone who, interestingly enough, like several years ago, I had done a reading for her. And then she wanted me to do a last minute reading for her. And I was like, I can't, it just can't fit into my schedule. And she was kind of nasty. And then she made a kind of a little biting comment about me on one of the pages, which who gives a fuck? Because like people just do that. Like, but more like there's only one, or there's never any real people or something like that. I was like, well, fuck you. Okay, whatever. Whatever you're pissy about. But then she went on this, like, so this is like years ago that she did it. And then she went on and she, after my girlfriend she's my best friend, had recommended me because she does that and I love her for it. She was like, she's the only real one I've ever met. I just got a kick out of that. And then I watched the thread and it's like all these women going, people look you up on social media. And I'm thinking, like, how much time do you think I have to research anybody on social media? Like, okay. Give me a fucking break. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. So like to see people are like, you can't do these over Zoom. And I'm like, quit limiting yourself. Anyway, another rambling story. Is there a specific reason for that guide's presence? Yes, I feel like it's actually to like get you to stretch and open. Like that one's with you a lot, but it's really like more prominent and present right now to get you to stretch and kind of work your intuition and grow your intuition and realizing like what you're capable of doing. Because it's way more than even what you're doing right now. So it's like sort of there as a like the non-emotional guidance. Like it's actually really good teacher kind of to have, to not be emotional, to sort of be like, this is how you do it. And so whether you realize that they're working with you, because a lot of times things come through to us in our sleep, it's very like he's working with you in a very methodical, exact way. And I think that that's the guide you're having the conversation with. Allie, I absolutely 100% believe our guides help us with the smart ass things we say. You think about successful writers or people who are, inventors, everything like this, like they're like, oh, it came from nowhere, or I dreamt about it, or they're highly intuitive people, even if they don't like fully embrace it. So yeah, I do think that like things will come to me and I'll say things and I'm like, where'd that come from? And then like, I'm like, oh, I always thought I was really smart. Maybe it's actually just my guides. Like I had this like moment that I thought like, I have a fairly high IQ. I thought maybe it wasn't really me. Maybe they were doing all the work for me. Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, so yeah. So that's who I think that is. KK is, and I'm not getting a name. I don't get a lot of names for guides, to be very honest with you. Emily M, Farah, you're up, and Cheryl, you're up. And we'll get out of here. And oftentimes our guides are similar to our personalities. So there are some that are a little like, I think that you're much more personable than this being is, KK, but the ones that kind of come through, like kind of to tell me things, like he's specifically working with you. I don't think he'd be the one who would be telling me things like to share with you. I don't know how to explain it. But we have different ones that work with us differently. Okay, Emily, is there anything you should be working on or focusing on, watching out for? I don't feel like watching out for or focusing on. It feels like um, being more present. So, like the only thing I say focusing on is actually focusing on doing what you're doing, being present, being in the moment feels very important. That you're sort of not as focused as you should be. I know you feel exhausted and sort of like needing a break from the monotony. I do see you sewing. Have you been sewing? I know you've mentioned to me, I think you mentioned to me about a sewing machine and stuff, but it just feels like that should be something you're kind of focusing on. So I don't know if you've been sewing and selling things on Etsy or something like that. Hi, Gia. Nice to see you. The list is closed this evening, but I come back every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Last Sunday I wasn't here because I had a sewer issue. I couldn't stand the smell. You've been sewing, not selling. It feels like maybe it'd be a good idea to work on selling, setting that up, focus on that and setting it up to sell things. So set up an Etsy account or go to like local pages on your Facebook and like what they have, like, what do you do or whatever, sell stuff there if you're not ready to do an Etsy thing. But it just feels like sort of focus on that because it'll give you, when people purchase them, it gives you something to do to kind of relieve some of the monotony. Farah, you're up. Cheryl, you're up. And then we're done. Let's get this done in 10 minutes or less. Is her football still on? Kidding. I mentioned to you one time, Cheryl, that you would find work, something to do with books. Nothing has come up yet since timing as to when this new job might start. You're welcome, Emily. Okay, so the feeling I'm getting is like you're not really looking though. Like it's sort of like not actively looking. Like it's like, well, if it comes up, like it feels more happenstance than anything. Like, excuse me, when someone's like, when am I going to start dating somebody? And like, I'm like, have you put yourself out there? Like, are you joining some apps? Are you like, it's like, well, no. And just that feeling of like not fully putting myself out there. But I do feel like within the next couple of months, it doesn't feel that far out. It does feel temporary though, and then moving to do something else. Why are you laughing right now? Because you're not really looking. Yeah, that's what I feel. Farah, are you still here, Goddess Love? So you can just ask your question and I'm waiting for I know there's a little delay here. Okay. Cheryl, does that make sense when I say that? Like you haven't really been looking? Here we go. Not putting myself out. Hilarious that you mentioned it in the conjunction with dating. Why? Are you not putting yourself out there for either things? Sorry, itchy nose. I realize my hair is getting so long. I need a haircut bad. It's almost like it's not as long as I had it in high school. In high school, it was like down to my butt. Just feel like it's getting really somewhere around hairbandish length. Okay, sorry, I gotta stop. I'm gonna help you out, Farah. It's weird right now, Farah. Like it feels like a lot at once. It's not, it feels like big upheaval, but they are just part of having your manifestations happen. It's like it's a feeling of I put some stuff into motion, like say 6 months ago, and then I just thought there's nothing happening, like whatever. And I sort of gave up on it. And then my life just started what it feels like falling apart and everything kind of going terribly. And they're kind of like, it's all coming together perfectly. This is to make that stuff happen but it's like there has to be all of these shifts in order for it to happen. And you were so focused on it has to happen this way, and this way and you were like trying to manage all of the little facets because so many things have to move, so many moving parts have to happen in order to get the love that I want, the job that I want, and have everything that it's like you kind of gave up on it because you were trying to micromanage it so much, and then it sort of allowed everything to come together. Does that make sense when I'm saying that? Myself out. I'm like, oh, I want to change my job, but don't know what to do. So I'm finding difficult to focus on looking. Love it just happens. So even with your job, like you just said this, you're not really putting yourself out there. You said you're finding it difficult to focus on looking. So you're not really putting yourself out there and looking for the job. It's not going to just like, they're not going to deliver it to you on your lap. So I was right when I said that you're not really, it's that feeling of when someone goes, when's my man going to come? I'm like, when are you going to put yourself out there and let the men know that you're available? It's that thing. Like, when are you going to put yourself out there and let like the jobs know you're available? It's too much. Nothing has been working. And I feel that my mother is blocking me from making my life the way I want it to be. So I feel like this is like a non-psychic thing, but like sometimes you have to set boundaries, and a lot of times it's with people, mothers, fathers, siblings, whatever, that maybe think they have the best intentions for you and they don't. And there's a lot of enmeshment and like unhealthy behaviors. And you sort of just have to like you might piss her off and she might not want to talk to you for a little bit, but you just have to do your life the way you want to do your life. Because at the end of the day, eventually she's going to die and you're going to be there without her. And if you're doing a life that she wanted and not what you wanted, then like, what the fuck is that about? Because you're not going to be happy. And setting boundaries is super hard. And it's hard when you first start doing it, but it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Sometimes it is okay to like, and don't feel guilty about saying like, I'm happy to not be talking to her, because so then the other part of that is why not manifest? Sometimes it's hard to change another person, but manifest you having super healthy boundaries. And so that creating healthy communication and healthy boundaries with mom and a better relationship, rather than trying to change her, where it's just, she starts to learn that if she wants to be a part of your life, she has to respect those boundaries. Doesn't matter if you live in the same house or not. Really doesn't. It's harder, but it still doesn't matter. You can still do it. I always, sorry, itchy nose. I always see things on the manifesting pages about people like, I want an apology. I'm like, apologies don't really matter. You want the actions to change, because apologies can be totally empty. When will things change? They're already changing in your favor. It's just you're too close to it to be able to see it. It's like with a magnet, you're like there with a little magnifying glass, and like it's hard to see because it seems really blurry, but they're already changing. You're welcome, Cheryl. I feel like, did I tell you something obvious? So it feels like in the next couple of months, but you like actually need to like start looking for the job to show up. I don't know if you understood that at all. Sorry. Yeah. So it's already shifting whether you see it or not. So don't feel guilty about your boundaries. Keep holding your boundaries because it's starting to shift everything. Are you planning on moving out? Because I feel like by the end of the year, you won't be living there anymore. And not because like you get kicked out, nobody wants you there. It just feels like making the decision that it's time for me to live on my own. Pardon my yawn. Sorry. Don't say nothing is moving. Everything is moving in my favor. The universe is has my back. The universe is conspiring in my favor. Everything always has a way of working out for the best way possible that I could never even have come up on my own, but it always works out for the best. Best case scenario is what Roxy always says. Best case scenario. Mr. Floppy, want a horsey ride? Nice. We haven't met one of you in a while. Oh, you're good for comic relief, though. I appreciate it. All right. Your finances are going to come into place. Everything's going to fall into place. The universe is always working in your favor. Also, let's be honest, Mr. Floppy. Shouldn't it be a different name than Mr. Floppy if you're asking for horsey rides? I mean, really? Not going to be a very fun horsey ride, Mr. Floppy. You can move into another state. You have to like start moving into the like seeing things happen. So instead of going, nothing ever works out for me, everything always works out for me. Everything always falls into place. And like, I know it sounds nuts, but the minute I started really thinking about life that way, everything works out in my favor. Everything always works out. It doesn't matter. And A, it takes the stress away. And B, it really does end up happening that way. If you expect things to fall apart, then things fall apart. If you expect things to work out, they just work out. If you expect that result from the universe, that's what happens. I really 1,000,000% believe in manifesting. I do believe that we create our own blocks unknowingly. In fact, Miss KK helped me figure out something I was doing on my own for some of the things I'm manifesting. And it was like a belief system of feeling like greedy and selfish and just needing to like let that go and know that I can have anything that I want. I just need to not feel guilt about it. So it's just that sort of shifting your thought process around it. So do the Roxy Talks things, do the affirmations around money, do the affirmations, listen to them and watch your mental mindset. And KK and I were talking about this too, how she's like, I notice I look for movies and it's like, even the comedies, there's some like horrible, awful thing that happens or something. And my kids have been mentioning it a lot lately. My one daughter, she'll be 8 in March. And she's like, Mom, why does somebody always die? Why does the mom always die? Why is someone always dying in movies? And I'm like, well, because a lot of people think in order to have something like you have to overcome everything. So it's sort of like, I mean, I watch stuff, but I also then like, I find myself, I spend a lot of time during the day where I'm listening to affirmation stuff. I'm writing my manifestations. I'm thinking in a thought process of manifesting and I'm thinking, okay, what's blocking me from getting this? What am I like, what is my little thing, my thought process that needs me to get beyond the hump because I'm feeling like I'm not getting to where I want to get to. So how am I stopping myself? So, and Joseph Olay, I'll say this too, and I think Roxy says this too, is sometimes things seem like they're falling apart before they fall together. Jake Ducey says it too. It's true. Sometimes things seem like they're literally falling apart and then just everything kind of goes right in order and everything works out. So Ignore what you see in the 3D. They all say this. Ignore what you see in the 3D and just focus on your manifestation. And it doesn't, circumstances don't matter. Always remember that circumstances don't matter. And maybe it's a good lesson to learn that it doesn't matter what negative person is around me. I still am powerful and I can still manifest whatever I want. And you said you ended up manifesting the money? So sometimes it's not even about it's just reminding you how powerful you are, right? So you can manifest anything you want. Circumstances don't matter. That's a that's a whole societal undertone thing too. Like when women are asking for respect or um, maybe we're a bit more like if a man asks for something in a certain way versus a woman asks, a woman's a bitch and a man's like, oh, well, he just wants the job to get done the right way. And if a woman does, it's like, God, she's such a fucking bitch. Like, it's like society. Like, we're supposed to be like just sweet and accept everything and just be as helpful and happy as possible all the time. And, like, that's misogyny and patriarchy, right? Working for you. So you can do that with this too, Farah. You just have to just remember that it's sort of like a test, and no matter what, you can get through it. So it doesn't, and it also then will remind you when things seem hard around you later in life when you're not living at home. It's like, oh, whatever. I don't really care who's around me because that doesn't affect my life. That's like maybe in her world, just be like, oh, in her world, she's just a miserable piece of. And in my world, like whatever, that has no bearing on me. Like she's living on another side of plexiglass. There's nothing around me, like, because I'm happy no matter what. So here's the thing. People who are insecure and weak and they talk about other people and who are miserable, they talk about you to other people because they want to make sure somebody's on their side so they feel justified in their behavior because they know they're not doing really nice things. So don't worry about it. Just set your boundaries and be like, if she's talking about you and somebody else is saying something, just be like, look, whatever you want to believe. I know who I am. I know my truth. Whatever you want to believe is fine with me. You don't need their outside validation. You know what you're doing. You know how you feel. Stay with it. And a lot of people do want to get a reaction because then they realize, like, I got to them. I'm still important. I still got it. So it's just whatever. You want to do that? Cool. I'm not jumping into that batch. I've got too many other things I've got going on right now. And I'm more focused on manifesting a healthy life and a healthy thought process and a healthy mindset and really growing my life and coming to a better place. So you want to be over there doing that? That's totally cool. I don't care. I'm busy. I got my head in the game here, and that's not the game I'm playing anymore. I think the best thing I ever did was stop worrying about what anybody thought about me. For a long time, I just, like wanted my in-laws to like me. And they honestly really don't give a shit. Like they'll say, how are you? But they don't really want to know how I'm doing. And you just have to be okay with that. And I don't really care. It's not that they're horrible people. That's just who they are. And once I got to the point that it really decided that it means nothing about me and it says nothing about me if they aren't all like, validating me and everything else. And that's just really a lot about them. Like everything became easier. They're not horrible people. It's just who they are. And if you just kind of like don't get too wrapped up into it and decide that it doesn't really say anything about you, you sort of are easy able to move on with it. Their problem, not yours. And really, what somebody else's opinion about you is really none of your business. I don't really care what somebody else's opinion is about me. Just don't like, okay. I mean, if I got my panties in a bunch all the time, all the times that somebody called me crazy or was like, we don't believe in what you're doing, or like Mr. Floppy coming on here deciding to be like, whatever. I mean, whatever. That's what you want to do with your time. Yeah. I mean, don't bend over backwards to make everybody else comfortable, but like, you also don't have to go to your way to rock the boat either. Like, you can just whatever, like, let everybody do their stuff. You do your own. It doesn't matter. Cheryl, did I answer your question? I think I did, right? Yes, I did. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. So I think we're done. I'm ready to go. I hope you guys are too. It's been a little bit of a night. 30% of these donations are going to be going to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I still need to do a drawing for if you're on my website and you're subscribed for the free reading for this month. I do readings, private readings. They are a little different with this. They are over Zoom. You can check out my website for that, www.myspiritualfriend.com, or just myspiritualfriend.com. You'll find it. It's all the links are below. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm not usually super uber duper overly spiritual in those places. Maybe more so on Insta than I am on Twitter. On Twitter, I'm a little bit more, I don't know, just all around the place, all over the place. But whatever, join me. I'm around. I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next Sunday. It's a big week. Let's send a lot of love to Miss Cindy as she gets to bring home her little boy this week. And we'll send love out to everybody else too. Have a wonderful week. Miss Mary, I hope you feel better super, super soon. Allie, I hope you're on the mend too. And Starry Sky, you too. Get your knee in your eyeball and check. All right. Have a good week, guys. Itchy nose.